What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the most unsponsorable by Konami YouTuber borrowing that sponsored content to break down what they might not want to tell you to keep their sponsorships by Konami. When it comes down to legendary collections, in the past they had that classic layout on the monsters, and it's highly updated here to where you get those holographic stars and attribute symbol. That's going to shut off some collectors from wanting this, while creating other collectors who do want to go in for specific reasons, like, I love Jinzo, I want every version of Jinzo, I want that Jinzo to go along with my other Jinzos. Collectors are going to have different reasons, so some will be pleased with this, some will be displeased. I'm sure it will split the collector community on this, just like 25th rares, which we'll get into because, of course, they're promos. That word Konami's really slinging around this year, which I'm a big fan of. But the thing that they're not going to want to talk about is quality control, which I really wish a lot more YouTubers would speak up about. It feels like you don't hear about it in the sponsored openings too much, but you hear about it plenty in the unsponsored ones. This Suijin, I saw Lithium open, he goes, a bit, and I think he's just thinking about what to say about the Gate Guardian support, but oh my gosh, the slash lines through this, all freaking over, are scaring me a bit. Now, I do think there are huge differences in the EU and the US product, but it could be camera lighting. Check out this Suijin, and then check out Cyber Knight's opening where you have the catapult turtle. There's that much deeper, darker, richer texture to the card itself. I personally am a huge fan of that, and it does seem the community at large tends to like the EU print for many modern cards and prints, but it does suck to see that it's the EU card that has the quality control issue. Nothing here in Cyber Knight's opening seemed damaged, and you had those huge all-over hollow foil kind of cards, and I did not see scratches or anything like that. The Mudor will have the light shining from the hand. You might stare at it. That's part of the card. Now, the EU and US products also have core differences in the product itself. An entire case in the EU is only 6 boxes, not a display, a case. Tier 0 is doing multi-case bundles because when you order in bulk, you should be saving a little, so you can look through those as well and use code What'sGood5 for 5% off and support the channel directly if you're interested in the EU product, and that should be free international shipping on top. But when you're talking a case in the US, that is 20 displays. Of course, you're paying the difference per box to a degree. You're going to have different deals offered by different sites, but being able to order more in bulk, I don't know how that would affect ratios, how that'll affect different things, but it does seem, even at the core of just how the cases are shaped, there is a definitive difference in the EU and the US products there, and it looks like physically, should we believe the cameras, etc., that will be the case for the cards as well. Take that with a grain of salt, go around and watch the videos yourself, see if you also think that the card print / stock or whatever is different when it comes down to it, but I do like the EU one more so already. Now, like I was saying, I think there will be a lot of different reasons to collect with this set. Like, imagine having an entire 2002 master set of LOB, then having a 2017 master set, and you see this 2023 one pop up and be different. You'll probably collect the new master set too, or get around to it eventually. I feel like with collectors, you're going to have very vocal ones who are going to dislike this move, and I do think with the sealed booster boxes, if we get this card layout in them, which we should assume most likely we will with those 25th stamped packs being the same, that they will move to the new card layout here. There's also updated card text for some cards, but not all the cards. So sometimes, but not all the time. The good old Glasgow Yu-Gi-Oh reference. And unless the boxes have something extra special in them, like 25th rares in their cutting sheets that didn't make it to the legendary collections inside of it instead of promos, well, I don't know that these boxes are going to do the best immediately, maybe over time, because it still harks to the classic era, but I do think the classic card layout would have done better for the products as a whole and created a lot more hype for those OG chasers. I also hope that TCG Player ends up making different listings, because if you have to put worldwide edition for the EN cards and mix them in there, people are going to get completely different cards than they expect when they're ordering online. So I hope that other companies do look and try to at least make a difference in the listings where maybe pictures are required, or a different listing just pops up for 25th Jinzo or something like that, even though it's not 25th rare. Just some kind of distinction, because it's going to get get confusing on the listings, and people are going to get different things versus what they ordered. Back to Cyber Knight's opening. Again, I feel like when we're talking about the packs themselves and how things look, when it comes down to these, I am still a fan of the set as a whole. You compare to the Magic 30th debacle versus the Yu-Gi-Oh! 25th and how people put this on a pedestal. People are now backing down and giving a lot more criticisms or thoughts to the set. And I like that about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community as a whole, that they're able to do that, but then it causes really weird arguments and riffs and that kind of thing. But I do still like the US set to a degree. I just like the EU one more. And finally, onto the promos. I have had people that I feel like are borderline gaslighting me at this point. I am staring at this, and you want to tell me there's differences versus the Starlight rares besides, you know, the box with the stamp in it? Like, I'm staring at this. I am judging, and I'm getting comments like this on YouTube that say, it's rare for me to comment on such things, but for me as a high-end collector myself, the 25th rare does indeed look different than the fake ones, like from AliExpress. So going to that fake Starlight feel. Someone once tried scamming me with a fake 10K and I had a counterfeit in my hands. The foiling on the 25th rares shown at YCS London look alike to the fake ones. By the way, I have the EU one on screen. No comparison to a regular Starlight, and I'm none of those Instagram vendors. From that point of view, I have to say that I hope everyone will open their eyes and spot the difference apart from the 25th stamps. I'm staring, I'm looking at Lithium's video, show it back and forth. I've had OCG Starlight rares. I had a super polymerization Starlight I pulled just last week, and granted I was drunk, it was drunk stream, and I sent it to a viewer because they beat me in a box battle with it. I do not see a difference in this versus the Starlight rares besides the stamp. I think these look gorgeous. I do think these will impact the market on Starlight rares to some degree, and I think it's a lot of people trying to really plant that difference in people's heads because I'm not seeing. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below about the 25th rares. Do they truly look all that different? Are you trying to spot it? Because I just think it looks about the same, if not better to some degree. Do you see Twitter do that? It does it with pictures sometimes. It actually just put the red highlight to the side because it's red on screen. That's so cool. Speaking of also the red back, I feel like I saw some kind of almost that glue-like structure where you can see from printing sheets when it comes to Lithium's video and the reveal on the back of the card as well. Let me make sure volume's off there. But when he was going through and he pulled it and he went to the back, I did feel like at one point I did see, yeah, you can see here and here you can kind of see that almost glue-like thing. So again, quality control, even with the promos to a degree. Most of this seems to be coming from the EU as a whole, though, on quality control that I've seen so far, specifically Lithium's video. So it could be isolated, but be aware that could be something you're dealing with the EU cards, which, again, I like more, so that kind of sucks. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the conversations. I'll keep them coming, the ones that others are scared to talk about. Not really. You hear plenty of it. You just don't hear it around the round of sponsored openings, but you'll probably hear others talk about it a lot more later. Thanks for watching, everybody.